and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we get the flag up? Okay. And if you would not mind standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
and
to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's go ahead and do a roll call. Rosanna, would you mind calling out for roll call?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Kaidoy,
here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Ehard. I think Joe said he's here.
Yes, here. Sorry, I was muted.
Yes, Commissioner Strauss. Unmute. Commissioner Jackson
Here.
and Commissioner Montemayor.
I'm here. I made it. Hello.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're all here. We are not sitting any alternate today, am I correct?
No, we need to seat Joe.
Oh. Okay. Okay, so let go ahead and who are we seating Joe in replace of?
Rohit Sharma.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and seat Joe in replace of Rohit. And we are good with item number 4. Let's go ahead and if everyone can please look at the agenda so we can get an approval for the agenda today.
I move the approval for agenda today, June 7th, 2021.
Okay, I got a movement for approving the agenda. Do I have a second?
I second Rondi Jackson.
Whoever.
I have a second. Can we do a roll call, please?
Let's see, I'll do it. Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Favor?
Commissioner
In favor?
Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Strauss,
Yes.
Mr. Montemayor,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ehart. Hey, Joe, you approve it?
Yes, sorry, I'm muted again. I tried to stay
okay.
muted.
Yes, and Commissioner Kadoy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on to approving the minutes. Have everyone had a chance to go over the minutes from last month?
I have a copy in front of me, so I move to hobby approve also.
Okay, we got a move for approval. Do we have a second?
I will second.
I know we have a second. I don't know who would first, Becky or Joe.
Becky can do it. It's okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so we have a second from Becky, and then can we do a roll call vote?
Sure. Yeah, and again, only vote if you were here last month. So I have Commissioner Kadoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Strauss.
If I was here last month,
Yeah, if you weren't, you just abstain.
okay, abstain.
Okay. Commissioner Ehart,
Yes.
Commissioner Montemayor,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, do we have anyone for public forum?
Let me check really fast. You didn't 37 seconds ago and you still do not. So we're good to go.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next item. Can we slow down on the train a little? Thank you. Okay, so far our annual tour, did we all have fun to go to all the parts?
Yeah.
I don't hear excitement.
It was awesome. It was great.
Go.
I even saw Mr. Davis out there. It was great.
Oh, well, good. All right. I think Rosanna tallied everyone's submission. So she's going to go through that. Ron, if you want to stop sharing your screen. So Rosanna can go over that.
I just want to say, I don't remember if I was at last month's meeting or not.
Oh, don't worry. Well,
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see, where am I? Okay. Ron, do you have that available? Or I can do it. What
I
was
do.
that?
1 second. Yeah, it was right behind the agenda. 1 second.
The park tour assessment?
The park tour assessment.
Thank you. Okay, so again, just a reminder, you visited Albert Augustine Jr. Park, Sunny Hills. There was, as you could see, I didn't put the tally. You were either looking for if it was great, good, bad, needs attention. And so the commissioners that submitted their forms back to me, you all visited a good amount of, different times. I wasn't sure if the Wednesday 6 a.m. was really true, but that's what was listed on the form. Most of everything out there that you did notice, you indicated with the comments, depending on the time that you visited the park, I think the restrooms probably needed attention. But for the most part, you all provided the same input, what you did see that needed attention. And as you can see, this park here, Sunny Hills, the park is very presentable, nice play equipment and restrooms, which are very important, part of the Hedgehog Trail with the municipal garden at the north end, which is beneficial to members of the community as well as educational resource. Toddler play area needs more sand, play surfaces cracked, litter around picnic areas, barbecues need attention, needs more trash cans around the play areas, some graffiti in the rest washrooms. I think I might have combined wash and bathroom. So this one's very important, needs lights along the west pathway, very dark. Restrooms old and dirty, no recycle bins. Grass along Coelho has divots. Walkway to south on Hetchy needs grooming. North Field's good. Sundial's good. A few more benches would be good. Okay, that was for Sunny Hills. Let's scroll up, please. And please interject if I missed your, comments. Let me know what you can pretty much remember. This is all we have.
That's the end of the page.
Okay, let me look at mine. Please, let me see. Okay. Sorry, give me a minute here. Okay.
I had one question about that park. The park sign, the name on it was different than what I remember city council approving. I don't know. The wording was different. I don't know if that matters. I didn't comment that when I wrote it, but the sign had different wording than one of the other things I've seen. So it would minute wording differences though.
We took the wording from the minutes at the city council meeting. So it was ultimately
Okay.
Sunny Hills, Albert Augustine
Okay.
Park.
So can you all see what I'm sharing now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So thank you for enlightening me. The name of Creighton Park is Frederick Creighton. And again, same round, half hour, an hour from what the visits were for Sunny Hills for the most part, because this is newly remodeled park. The additional restroom and dog park are great for the area. The new playground equipment is really nice. Barbecues need attention, only one restroom, no art. Dog play area could use a water fountain for humans and dogs. Park visitors complained about muddy pathways when wet. ADA playground, really cool. Good lighting. Dog park was a great addition. Unfortunately, about the Highway 680 noise, nice trees, maybe one more barbecue on the south side. Dog poop bag dispenser on the south side pole was too high. And I wasn't sure about the baseball backstop. I think this is Rondi's. Do you?
Yeah,
Oh.
I was surprised when I walked around and then I saw the baseball backstop. I go, oh, how cool. So it's a
Okay.
positive. Like,
Yes.
that's awesome. That's great.
Okay. Good to know.
Now, I needed a stool to get the dog poop bag.
Okay.
Yeah. just letting you know.
But you did try to reach for one, so which is awesome. You're doing your part as a nice
Dog owner.
citizen. Yeah.
Yes.
Dog owner. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go to the skate park. Really good comments again. Everybody was surprised that that it's well attended at the different times that you visited. There are only a few tables that you noticed. But there's space for more. Restrooms are not plainly visible to the new park users, with no visible signs directing them to the snack shack. Attendance was excellent at this time. Again, 50 people was there when Ricky, I believe, visited. Tagging on electrical boxes and pathways. Unfortunately, that's one of those things that we're dealing with daily. Women's restrooms needed attention, more tables and places to sit. Again, commonality, restroom signage not visible. All structures were well maintained, lots of use and all harmonious, taking turns. I'm thinking this is probably the skaters. Tables and shades were good, maybe more benches. Lighting is good. Okay. Any more comments?
Yeah, I'm checking. The main sign, Milpitas Skate Park, it's
Mhm.
tagged. There's
do you
tag
mean
art
it's tagged?
on the sign itself.
Yeah, we actually
Yes.
did a major graffiti abatement cleanup out there throughout the sports center. So that's all been remedied.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any more comments from the commission?
I would say overall, the three that we went to are pretty well maintained, in my opinion. They look really nice, and other than small things here and there, you all are doing a great job out there.
I do have one concern because I am a walker in the dark on Hetchy at
Oh,
Augustine.
wow.
Are there supposed to be lights on both sides of that walkway, like in the park? The park is pitch black.
On the easement of that pathway, there are major restrictions from SFPUC as to what we can put in. So having worked on other park designs where there is an easement like that, there are restrictions that make it almost prohibitive to put in pathway lighting on either side. But there is safety lighting in that park. Public Works has I'm very excited about it, a lighting project where they're going through and updating all of the park lighting. And I believe while that safety lighting is on there. So I'll note that for our director.
Yeah, because the lights have not been on in the park at all.
Okay, we'll make note of that. I'll shoot an
Okay.
email over this evening. But as far as those, I'll call them hip level bollards, pathway lights over
Yeah.
that easement is not something that they readily approve, if at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And just a reminder, once the park goes dark, you're not supposed to be in it. So they close
But
at
it closed at 10, right?
dusk. It
Oh.
closes at dusk, and then it's after 10 o'clock, you could be ticketed for being in a park. So just
So
FYI.
yeah, I know.
Be
But
careful.
yeah. So the lighting won't come on. It says open till 10, but there's no lighting in the park after at all.
The safety lighting should be on. So that's why I'm going to email Public Works.
Cool. That's
But
great.
just so you know, yeah, parks close around dusk, and then after 10 o'clock, we don't want people in the parks.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So Rondi, yeah, a citizen did complain to me about the lack of lighting at the park. And I did let the city manager know. So they said that Public Works was going to be working on it. And but that was a month ago. So I'm hoping that they get on it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there's lighting there. It's just, I think the lights, something about the way that it's an old system. So that they have, it's going to take time to put in a new system.
Gotcha.
But that's so.
Okay.
And then, so now that we're on the subject, can I ask a couple of questions? So Renee, so with this valuable data that you're getting, what is going to be done with these assessments?
Well, they're great for Beautify Milpitas, number one, which is a program you were instrumental in. So we'll take that data. Our council did approve a new Beautify Milpitas program. It supports park cleanups, not just or specifically for trash and litter, but really beautifying, wiping down surfaces and having the community be able to come out and maintain Milpitas' sparkle, if you will. So we're going to use some of this data for that. We'll also report it back to the Public Works Department. If there's any initial things that they can help with. Like a lot of you noticed some of the graffiti. We also got information on that through the CDC Quick Fix app. So it's great that we have multiple eyes on locations just to help us keep track of what's going on as quick as you see it. Public Works can get out there to remedy that. And then also it's great data to compare, Vice Mayor, with the survey results that we get from the Parks and Rec Master Plan update. That's going to council next week, a draft form. So it's good to have all this information data together as we implement.
So yeah, I was mostly, I know all the other small things we could fix, but major, like I know in Sunny Hills Park, I've always wanted those. The trees have some type of a brick layering around it. And I've noticed that they were broken off. And so we'll see what our new renovations will bring in. So, and then the other thing is, do you have a grading system of our city parks? Like this one's A or number system. This one has the 10 is the best. And then do you have something like that? So that way when Public Works or when it's time for funding, we'll know which ones need more repair.
Yeah, so that part of that new master plan that's coming forward, it has a system, it's like a color dot system as to the level of
needs or
greatness or attention is needed. Okay. And so we're going to use that to create that list of which parks to get to first. Yeah. Okay,
great. Yeah, I just was wondering what the plans were for the deficits, some of those parks. And then the other thing, my last comment, it would be nice. Someone had mentioned that, was it you, Rosanna, that said that Frederick Creighton, was it Fredericks? I didn't even know that the guy had I didn't know. I didn't know his first. So, but anyway, that reminded me, well, this would be great to have a historical, some kind of historical literature on all the parks. And we can have that and keep that in our archives.
That's
And
a
we're
great
actually talking
segue.
about that. Yeah, that's the next item,
Great
actually.
segue, Vice Mayor.
All right.
And
And
we can
Carmen?
thank Mr. Ehart on that, Joe. He's
thank
the
you.
one that provides all this knowledge. And this is so interesting. You know, you have a last name, but Joe is filling in the first names, which I think is really exciting.
That's right. You brought that up, Joseph,
Yes.
a couple of meetings ago. That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, and actually, a one sentence comment was, he created the first business store on Milpitas Main Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
That's really good
Put
to
on our
know.
list.
Yeah.
And then the last one, Renee, do we have an archives in our city? You know, like somewhere at City Hall where we keep all the old pictures and literature?
They're on my server folder. Yeah.
But what if it crashes sometime?
Yeah,
Anyway,
no,
yeah,
we do.
that's good.
Yeah. We have a bunch of photos from over the years. Some of them provided from the Historical Society. Some I received from the Ben Gross family, the Kuzi family. So over the years, we've started to compile these great photos so that when these projects come up, we've got some photos and pictorial history to go with it. So we have photos. Yeah.
That's great that you have that literature too. I recall way back when I was in the Parks and Recs Commission as a private citizen, there was a group. They were from the historians, and they had done a research on the De Anza expedition. And now you see those signs. This is part of the De Anza expedition. But I remember they had this big, thick book, and they were giving them out to the cities. I'm hoping you guys kept it. So
I'll have to look. But we have some old clippings, and we had some really cool stuff that has been saved over the years. So
yeah, that's good that you're saving it. Okay, that's enough. Thank you for me talking.
All good stuff. All right. Was this a note receipt file, Rosanna, for this one? This item?
That is
Okay.
correct. Yes. That we would take any findings to Public Works.
Great. Okay. Perfect. All right. You are muted, Sarah Davis.
Justin.
Sorry about that. So I guess we are ready to move on to item B, and that is a update from the subcommittee of the Marcos program. So I don't know who taking that.
Chair, that would be Commissioner Strauss and Kai Doi will provide a brief update.
Okay, Mr. Joseph Earhart was there with me.
And
so yes, what we talked about was something to go in that park right there behind that man right there, Joseph. And we're still discussing. I think we have a good idea of what we're going to put up there, but we're still discussing final details. I don't have any final things to tell you about it yet, but we're just about there. Next time.
We're working on a concept and a budget, and it's going to include information about the named individual, the park for whom it's named, with photographs if available, original art. So it's a joint historical information art kind of project, and so we're working on the concept of how we present that and a budget. What it might cost for each one of the markers. There are 19 name parks, and so we're trying to see what the costs are, and then something to be determined is where the funding would come from. I mean, the funding will probably come from different pots. Some of it will be from the art commission budget and so on, but it will come from different sources. So we've had 3 meetings so far.
Right. Anything to add, Crystal? I know you're there too. No? Okay.
No, they summarized everything.
Okay, good. So for the rest of the commission, so this subcommittee's been hard at work. If you don't recall, we're doing a joint project with the Arts Commission. They've looked at all of the parks that are named after people. And like Rosanna mentioned, we have some that are just last names. Cardoza Park is actually, I believe, Tom Cardoza, who was Tom Cardoza. Creighton is a person with a first name, you know, those types of things. We're in these parks every day. We have no idea who they are, except for, you know, a few of us with stories left. And so it's really going to be putting those names and those people and that history in the park in a artist designed or collaborative design, so that when people are walking around, they know who it's named for. It's just another way to capture that history. And then I think there's another component, which is having an online or virtual component to that, which is also another way to capture the history online, so that when you look up the parks, the first name is there and there's history there as to who that person was and what they did in Milpitas. So after the subcommittee comes up with the designs, then it'll come to this commission for review and recommendation, and then to the Arts Commission for review and recommendation, and both bodies together for asking for final approval from the City Council, and then the City Council will approve a budget for the project. So, and then we'll move forward.
So just one last comment. So Becky and Joseph, since you looked at the Alviso Adobe, I had recommended that the storm drains or the gutters that on the ancillary buildings, the water was, you know, they were clogged up and the water would, I guess, backflow and overflow. And it causes dry rot. So I had asked the city to, the maintenance to look into that. So did you guys have a chance to see if they were, if they were done?
No.
I'll look the next time I'm up there.
Yeah.
But the park, it does need some maintenance. For example, just to the east of I think you're referring probably to the garage area, that storage area next to the water tower. Is that the tank
Yeah, the
house?
water tower, yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to the east of that is that farm equipment display.
Right, near the elm tree, the huge elm tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
right.
what it looks like now. It's
Wow.
It's a 150-year-old sycamore.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
sycamore.
It's a weed patch right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Maintenance in the Alviso Park, I don't want to be really critical, but maintenance in the Alviso Park is, if we have 30 some parks, it would be the last park in other words, if you would rank first to last, the Alviso Park is really being badly maintained, and it's one of our two most historic parks, Higuera Park and the Alviso Park. I mean, we've got historic adobes in there. And
I'm gonna take this discussion and we're gonna have to do it another time because it's not really agendized, but we can note it as far as the maintenance. But to your point, Vice Mayor, do remember the gutters being a discussion point, so I'll check with Public Works on that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, and then we'll add the comment about Alviso just to the item 1, so we don't forget it, and then we're not out of compliance with our agenda. Okay, so was there anything else for the park markers? We take a break in July, so I'm assuming when we come back in August and early September, we'd have something more for everyone, and then eventually over to City Council with a budget for approval.
Yeah, Tegan is working out
Yeah.
We did not set in the meeting just before this.
Yeah.
When our next meeting is.
Soon.
He's gonna work on all that.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Great.
So that sound good? Are we ready to move on to our next item of our work plan review? And it looks like you guys have something to show us so we can talk about it.
Yep, Rosanna's gonna pull up your last year's work plan. So we just want to go over the items with you, and then what we're working on now, we'd want to keep, for example, the park, first item, park name history project phase. We're in 1 and 2 at the same time. So you'd want to keep that one. So we're just going to go through them all and then keep what you want to keep. And then if there's anything you'd like to add, we can add that. And then your work plan goes to City Council for final approval. And then that's what we work on for the next fiscal year, which is July to June. So I can just go through these. You're working on the park name history projects. You're doing phase 1 and phase 2 at the same time. So I think you're making good progress for that. So unless there's any major objections, we're gonna keep moving along with that one. The Parks and Rec Master Plan, you guys did give input during several meetings. So that item is going to City Council and draft for a final draft review on June 15th, and then back for final adoption in early fall. So that can fall off, for lack of a better term, off the work plan. However, you'll see on page 2, if there's any major park renovations or new projects, those all come to you as the advisory body anyway. Excuse me, your annual park and facility tour, you guys typically do that in June. Would you like to keep that on there? The quarterly reports from Recreation and Community Services. We bring those to you every few months. I would like to keep those on the work plan if you're so inclined. If you could scroll down just a skosh. Review of the historic site list. We did that this past fiscal year. So I think we need to take maybe a next step and just keep history on here as a goal. Maybe there's some other projects that we want to look at, or if you have interest on. Bicycle and pedestrian trails. You guys did receive and make some recommendations on the Bike and Ped Master Plan that's going to City Council later this summer. You guys also supported 2 bike repair events, which ended up being extremely popular to the point where we had wait lists for people that needed to get their bikes fixed. So we want to keep that up. And now that the pandemic is, for lack of a better term, winding down, we should look at bringing back your family bike event day. And then sister cities, one of the, I guess, casualties of the pandemic was working with the schools and other businesses and some and organizations that were shut down, but continuing that program. You guys already defined and helped develop the program. So we would move forward with the new school year with outreach to schools, which all have sister schools in other countries, and any other organizations that are still open and operating, and seeing if they have any sister international relationships with other countries. And then your ongoing review, which I mentioned briefly before, you guys still review any private development projects that include open space. You make recommendations on the annual CIP, park and improvement projects and priorities, as well as some of our facility improvements. And then if there's any public park spaces, you guys also provide input on that for City Council final consideration. So that's sort of a quick review of your work plan. You guys should have a discussion on anything that you would want to add or take off besides the things that come off because they've been achieved this current fiscal year. So I'll turn it back over to you, Chair, to lead that discussion.
So anything jumping out at anyone, or do we want to kind of start at the top and hit each one we have, and then let's do that. Let's start off at the top and work our way down each one with the conversation. So is there any conversation that anyone would like to have about park name and the historic motto phase? Do we need to add any more thing to that to our work plan, or are we just keeping it the way it is?
think it looks good the way it is. Yeah, I think it looks good that way. We're moving slowly, you know.
Well, we're in a new world with Zoom meetings and stuff. So,
Okay.
okay, so it sounds like we're good though. The master plan, Renee, you said it's falling off, right?
Right, will be complete. Well, it's fairly completed except for some sequence. So it's going to council on June 15th for presentation. And then if there's any additional direction from city council, then it could come back to you guys. But barring that, it would move forward to implementation starting early next fall. So you would see that plan as it's implemented through these new projects that we would bring to you for input and advisement for city council.
Okay. Any other discussion that people would like to have around the park master plan? Anything that's wanted adding? I'm seeing one head no.
Yeah.
Crystal.
Okay, so it sounds good. But the next item is our annual park code facility
ask,
code. Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead.
Sure. A question for Renee, some clarifying questions. Is the Parks and Rec Department Commission, are you guys in charge or stewards of the community garden?
They are, so they do review those rules and recommendations.
Okay.
So I think that's actually listed at the second page. If you guys, whoever yeah, it's right.
Was it one of the top?
Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. It's on our quarterly report. Sorry, go back up. We list the community garden there.
Okay,
So
yes.
if there's any suggestion on that, Vice Mayor, you can let us know.
So how many community gardens do we actually have that are the city operated?
So we currently have one that's open and operating, and then there's a second one that's planned as part of the new McKenlis Park. So there'll be another, I want to say 20 to 25 plots over there.
Okay, yeah, because I remember when I was previously on the council, we had some issues with, I guess some of the plots were some people were hoarding the many plots. Has that already been taken care of? You have a system now where it's fair?
Yeah. So we instituted resident only, so that helped with that. The plot sizes remain the same, but the oversights and the working with the gardeners has improved quite a bit. We also did the recycled water project out there and retrained everybody on handling of recycled water when they do garden. And it was fairly well used during the pandemic as passive recreation, which was still allowed. So that was nice. I was out there a couple times myself. If the commission wanted to look at the park rules to see if there's anything that, or just a cursory review of it to become familiar with it, we can bring that back as one of the quarterly reports. And then if the council would like to see that as well, we can. Happy to do that.
I would suggest that they at least, look at it, just so that way they'll know what's going on.
Yep.
Since they are in charge of it. The other question, I used to serve on the Open Space Authority as one of the liaisons for my city. And they used to give out a lot of grants for, and because there was a measure that was passed for open space, that it was open space. I forgot the name of the measure, but it was okay. So every city gets allocated certain funding, and I'm wondering if we're getting that funding.
I believe we did receive our funding, and I'm dialing the Rolodex back in my brain. I think we did receive some funding, and it was applied over in the McKenlis area and a couple others, but I can double check them.
Yeah, if you can let the commission know, so that way they can be updated, where these funds go. I think it's important. It's important for them to know.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
So annual park tour. I'm almost wondering if it should be something almost either quarterly or read twice a year. I don't know if I'm the only one that kind of like the idea of going out and seeing the parks and kind of looking at them and talking about them themselves, but that's a suggestion I would like to make.
I think you could probably even expand that to parks, facilities, and then some of our bike trails. I think that
Yes.
would be a more well-rounded topic area.
I'm in total agreement there.
Okay.
Anyone else have any input on that?
That sounds good.
Are you guys interested in like a biannual?
I think a biannual would be perfect, speaking for myself.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we have a biannual park facility and
bike path.
Trail. Yeah, we'll just call it trail, and then it could be bike or pedestrian. How about that?
Sound great.
Okay.
And so anyone else have stuff on the park and facility tour stuff, or are we ready to move down to total reports? Okay, so total reports, I think I'm hearing a little conversation that we want to add a little more on the community garden within the total reports. I don't know if this is I see it on here, but do we, I haven't before been too involved, but I would love to know more about the events when they happen and kind of the numbers after the events. I don't know if that's doable. Did kind of a update on how events went or type stuff.
So events is typically one of the topics that we give for quarterly reports. And then as part of the staff report, we can make note to report back how those were. Typically we do, but we haven't had any events in a while. So
yeah, that's why I was a little like, I kind of remember talking about that a year and a half ago, but it's right, I don't remember, so.
But I will have a couple numbers to report tonight under staff report. So that's exciting.
Cool.
But we can add events, and then Vice Mayor's comments, we can make sure to cover the garden, and then also any local or regional measure funding. We could make those part of that report list.
I'm just wondering with the Vice Mayor's recommendation of community garden, if that should be a separate item outside of the total report and make that to review the community garden stuff as its own item for next year's. Is that doable?
Sure, we can add it as a separate item.
I'm just thinking that way we can spend a little more time on it, and Ted, I would love to know more about our community garden. I haven't been in it since I was a kid.
Okay. All right.
There's an event coming at Starlight. This is Voltaire.
One more time, sir.
I thought I heard it in the city council meeting. There's an event coming up at Starlight Park. And
yeah, that's a Beautify Milpitas volunteer day. So I can announce that during staff announcements.
Oh, announcement. Okay.
Okay, so I think we're good with total report. Review hit sort site grids. I know we hit that a little bit. Renee, the more that you think we need to look at, I know we, on the subcommittee that we somewhat had, we were hoping to talk and write up little new essays about all the little new paragraphs about all the hit sort sites. Is that something that would help you guys at all? Is that something you would like us to do?
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I know Ron, who's in our IT department and is behind the scenes of this scrolling share screen right now. He did a great map as well through his GIS program that shows the historic sites. So maybe we can have a separate item where we talk about that and then what's needed for updating as well. So we can add the history, the virtual. As I'm looking at this, so you guys did review the plan. I think number 2, creating the online component. I think we just move that to number 1.
Yep.
And then for number 2, we have Mr. Ehart with us. If you guys would like to propose to help or work with Historical Society on their annual tour. So you could leave those 2 on there.
I think that makes sense. I hate being the one talking here all that much. Please, people, chime in.
You're all.
You're doing a great job.
No. We can tell when you're actually muted, you guys. Yeah. If you're passionate about something, then you know, go ahead and speak up. But yeah, those 2 would make sense to leave on there and then roll with those over the next.
So we'll keep number 2 and number 3 on and just remove number 1.
Yeah.
Sound good to me. So then we're moving down to the bike and pedestrian trail stuff.
So you've done number 1. So you could leave 2 and 3 on there. You can also talk about, I don't know if any of you volunteered on those bike repair days. If that is something that's of need. I was out there for the youth one. There are a lot of families, grateful families that were there. Over 100+ families, and there was a wait list. So you might want to add that.
So add the bike repair event and how we can help and support it and get more mechanics, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. They had a good amount, but there's definitely a need. So I know, Crystal, you were on the Bike and Ped Commission beforehand. Do you have any comments about this area or this topic?
This looks pretty good. I don't know how we would get like a bike shop since the last one left a few years ago. So I don't know.
There's nonprofits that come out and do this.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we did have that cool bike shop. But we could use the nonprofits, continue that work with them out in the community.
So I definitely think we should add the bike repair day to our work plan.
That's a great idea. You know, I bought just a comment. I bought my first Schwinn 10-speed right there on Main Street when they used to have that bike shop way back in the 70s.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
that's great. Yeah, a lot of people need help with their bikes for many reasons. So it was a good event. Okay.
So we'll add that on, and then anything else in the bike and pedestrian trail world that we want to add or look at more? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so we'll move. We'll move to the. Go ahead.
I know a little bit about cars, about bikes. I have bikes before. Yeah, but if we have a shop where we group together and we have tools and an expert installer or mechanic, then it would be good the next time. I wasn't there, sorry.
Okay.
That's okay, but I know you've got skills to do that, Mr. Montemayor. So we'll use you next time.
Okay.
So Renee, just a quick question, Chair.
Yeah.
So a while back, I had asked about the Hedgehog corridor on what's the name, Manford, and the one that goes to all the way to Fremont, but it stops on Manford because there's no, there's a fence there from the border.
Yeah.
And there was talks about extending that. Do you know what's the status on that? Is that still in the plan?
Yeah, I know we got some, we get calls every now and then from Fremont residents to extend that because they'd like to go the whole way. But we haven't yet, I have not yet spoken to the city of Fremont. So, but that could be incorporated or present in the bike and trail master plan. So I'll take a look at that and see if it gave direction on expanding it. Because I think that fence is just right there. And then if you go over the fence, then you're in Fremont, right? So.
Yeah, and maybe the Open Space Authority has funding for that too.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the Robert Peacock Park, right? Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
Bob Petco
Yep.
Park, yeah.
Yep.
Trail, actually.
Right, it's on the trail, yeah, but
Are
yeah,
there
this
homes,
portion of
though?
the Hetch Hetchy Trail is dedicated in memory of Robert Peacock, so yes.
Yeah.
Petco, yeah.
Pico?
Yeah, Petco, yeah. He and I
French.
were the ones that formed the Sunny Hills Improvement Association. And that was one of his desires was to, because it used to be all dirt clods. It was horrible. Just like the other side of the fence, Joe. It was just like that. And yeah, so I had wanted a family resource center with a big, I call it the monster house, that big huge house. That was when the school district had owned it, but it got sold to them. But that would have been for me. I had wanted to have a after school day, like a homework resource center where kids can go after school and get help. But that didn't happen. But moving forward, at least we got the Bob Petco Trail, Hetch Hetchy Trail.
Yeah,
and it would be great to have it extended to Fremont.
Yeah, that's a great trail. I've toured other cities that just want to see how that was developed. So the legacy is known Bay Area wide as far as I think San Carlos came down. So it's a well-known trail. Okay, so I'll check on the other side of the fence and we'll see what that looks like.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the cities. I think we got a number 1 done, so we're on to number 2. I think keep number 2 and.
Yep. I know that we did outreach, but it was right before the pandemic, so we'll do a relaunch. And then we do have one agreement with one sister city in the Philippines. So we'll keep on top of having to redo those MOUs. But this program that you guys developed really supported sister city activities with other organizations, any delegations that they were sending, that the city was in a supportive role. We would send content and supportive letters and any products that we might have to the other city with those delegations. If there were any pen pal programs, things like that, we would support all of that. So we'll relaunch that outreach in the coming months when schools are back in and nonprofits got more footing. So.
Okay. Are there any other main item that anyone would like to add onto our work plan before we look at the ongoing?
No, I think we're full.
Renee, is there anything that you know of coming up that we need to add?
There's always a lot going on, but I do think that for rec and community services, we'll get all that information out in staff reports and the quarterly reports. And as time goes along, if there's things that come up, just so you know, when you guys want to add things to the work plan after a discussion, then we can always bring the work plan back to the city council, mid-year. And city council can also have an idea at a city council meeting and direct you guys as well. So I think this is a good list. It covers all the areas that you guys are advising on. So.
Okay,
think it's
So
Good.
we'll look at the ongoing and then do what we need to. Is there anything with the ongoing list that anyone have a question, concern about?
Private development projects, including open space. What does that mean?
So that means when there is a developer that's putting in housing and they're the one building the park, that you guys still review that. So recently,
Okay.
we had the Robeson home development, and that came to you guys. It wasn't a city-built park. It was privately developed, but accessible. And so it just sort of delineates a privately funded and built project versus a publicly built project that the city is doing. For example, McCandless Park. We're doing that one. Does that make sense?
Yes, I remember something in the Arts Commission that we had certain projects like that.
Yeah.
It was over by the, yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you, Renee.
You're welcome.
Okay. Renee, do we need to do a vote or anything on the stuff we talked about?
Yes, so you'd want to make a motion, get a second and a vote to approve the 21-22 fiscal year work plan for final council approval.
Anybody like to make that motion?
I will make the motion to approve the 1921 to 22 plan.
Work plan.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, the 21-22 work plan for parks and recreation of our plan.
Just say so moved.
Yeah. After staff says your motion, just
You got it.
I support.
Okay.
Second, I just didn't have the whole performance. I'm worried of my
We're not
performance.
sleepy.
Okay, so we got a second. Can we go ahead and do a roll call for a vote?
sure. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Godoy.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Strauss.
Yes.
Ehart.
Yes.
Montemayor.
Yes, I'll improve my performance or participation.
All right.
Okay,
That's
and that,
it.
I have a can I say a comment? So
Yes.
Renee, how many commissioners do you have are doing on the commission?
It's a 7 and 7 plus 2 alternates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 6 with us tonight.
Okay, because you sure do have a lot of work. I mean, I'm a liaison to
I
the
know.
other commission, and you guys got your work cut out, I'm telling you. So I'm just thinking maybe you ought to increase your commission size.
Well, yeah.
By the way,
Idle hands. No.
Very quickly, the
You
reinstatement
guys might
of
want to
my,
bring that up. It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll shut up now.
the reinstatement of my position is that
That's
I don't
between
know.
you and the mayor, sir.
Okay.
That's not a commission item.
All right.
Yeah. Yes, if you guys are up for, reinstatement, you just email the mayor that you want to be reappointed, and then he takes care of that.
Okay.
So, okay. All right.
okay,
Next item.
it's our staff liaison, so
All right. Well, I promised some numbers. So we have officially started our summer season today. Under a lot of Rosanna's leadership, along with me. So we've got summer camps starting today, back out in the parks, all of our sports camps, cooking camps, art camps, everything is either virtual or outdoors. We do have our little pre-K camps inside for a couple days a week. But for the most part, the kids are back outside and getting their vitamin D starting this week. We did launch outdoor programs in the spring, and people were very excited to get back. Many of our classes are filling or filled at this point. So we are energized and inspired that our community is excited to be back out with us and participate. We have noticed an uptick in people in the parks and just focusing on their mental health and taking themselves outside and walking and enjoying the fresh air, using the tennis courts, picnic and playground areas. So it's great to see. We did start our first event back, which was movie night. It was over Memorial Day weekend. It was National Treasure. And so per the guidelines right now as they exist, we had to keep everyone about 6 feet apart, and there's certain percentages of capacity in open spaces, and there were reservations and the whole thing. So we followed it to a T, and we had enough for, I think it was about 25 family pods out in a park, and we got 21 families out there. So we had a little over 100 people out at Murphy Park, and they enjoyed National Treasure on a big screen with sound, and we had free popcorn, and it felt great. And everyone had their mask on, but it felt great. And we're excited to continue that. So those are Friday nights throughout the summer. You all should have gotten your activity guide mailed to your house. They're all in there. We do have a couple of pop-up performances in the park. I believe there's one at Starlight. There's also going to be one at Bob McGuire Park in that amphitheater that was built in. So we're excited to bring some arts and entertainment back out to the parks. And then we spoke a little bit about Beautify Milpitas. So the volunteer events are starting back up as well. We kicked off Beautify Milpitas at Higuera Adobe Park. I know Joe was there with us. So was the vice mayor. We had lots of students, which was great. Families, friends, everyone was out there. We picked up a little bit of litter, but they wiped down the playgrounds and they swept some DG back into place, and they took care of all the picnic tables and the awnings and saw if there were any stickers and things like that up there. They cleaned out barbecues, took a look at how things were going in the creek and cleaned up a little bit around that. So it was a great day. We had about 50 people. Everyone had a great time, and we're continuing that on the 19th of June. We are going to be at Starlight with the next Beautify Milpitas event. That's at 11 o'clock. You do need to pre-register. And you can do that off the city's website. If you search MVP for Milpitas Volunteer Program, the event will pop up and you just sign up through Sign Up Genius. So those will be scheduled monthly. I think we're shooting for the 3rd Saturday of every month. So
Very nice.
It's coming back. So there's your numbers, Chair Davis. More to come.
When is the Cocoa one? That's the one I'm going to go to.
I know. I'm so excited about that. I'm drawing a blank. That one, I believe, is at Pinewood in a couple weeks later in the summer. I'll send the list out to everyone.
Which one is that? What is that?
Cocoa.
Cocoa.
Oh,
that's a real good one.
The movie?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about hot cocoa.
Yeah.
At first I thought that too.
Everyone excited. Yeah. So more to come, but really excited to get back out there. So
yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
I think we have not for me, but I think we have our council liaison report after this.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to mention that we passed we went over the budget and we approved it, and that's the highlight. That's the main thing we want to see. So it's looking healthy, and we're going to be moving forward with that. So, and also we will be receiving, our city will be receiving 16.7 million in American relief funds. Every city in the state of California. But we only get half of it, so that's 8 point something. And so next city council meeting, we'll be discussing where we want to prioritize and put spending in some of those projects. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. It sounds good. Do we have anything else we need to talk about? I'm pulling up my agenda to double check, but I think we are good. So we do have upcoming agenda items. Is there anything that we need to add or talk about for next month? Oh, well, we don't have any meeting next month, do we?
Right. July is a break for everyone. So we would see everyone back the 1st of August.
Okay,
And that the next meeting is August.
August 1st.
Is it
August 1st.
Okay, no, August 2nd.
first Monday in August?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, then why don't we go ahead and adjourn the meeting and everyone have, oh, yes.
I just, I think somebody's retiring that is on our Zoom, and we probably won't see her as the
Yes, we will.
recreation. Oh, it's a big deal. And I think Rosanna has always supported us so well, and I just want to thank her and wish her well.
Is Rojana
I'll still be
retiring?
here.
You'll get one more meeting
I'll
out
get
of her.
one more.
Will we? Oh, yay.
Yeah.
So we
All
need,
right,
can we
all
add
right.
to the agenda meeting a celebration for Rojana?
Yeah, let's have a party.
Yes.
That would be nice, yeah.
Let's do a party.
We need to do something for Rojana because she worked so hard
And I
and
can
supports
sing-
us a lot.
sing
I
happy birthday
second
to you,
that.
Rosanna.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. So our next agenda item
No.
is a Rojana party.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Sounds
Well, we
good.
need to take a vote. Let's go ahead and take a vote on
You
that.
don't need to take him out. I think you
Okay.
adjourned already, Chair. It's over.
Consensus.
Consensus rules. All right, we'll add a little something for Rosanna.
Awesome.
All right.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you all, and
All right.
everyone have a
Sounds
good
good.
evening and meeting
Good
adjourned.
night.
Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.